India and Pakistan share a complex and often tumultuous history. The partition of British India in 1947, which led to the creation of these two independent nations, was marred by widespread violence and displacement. This event cast a long shadow over the relationship between the two countries. It sowed the seeds of mistrust and animosity that continue to plague the region today. The partition was based on the idea of creating separate homelands for India's Hindu and Muslim populations. This division proved to be deeply problematic, leading to mass migrations and horrific communal violence. Millions of people were displaced, and countless lives were lost in the chaos and bloodshed. The trauma of partition left an indelible mark on the psyches of both Indians and Pakistanis. It created a legacy of suspicion and hostility that has fueled numerous conflicts, including 3 major wars. The scars of this shared history continue to shape the political landscape of South Asia. Despite the passage of time, the wounds of partition remain raw. The events of 1947 serve as a constant reminder of the human cost of division and the fragility of peace. At the heart of the India-Pakistan conflict lies the long-standing dispute over Kashmir. This mountainous region, known for its breathtaking beauty, has been a bone of contention between the two countries since their independence. Both India and Pakistan claim Kashmir in its entirety, but each controls only a part of it. The dispute over Kashmir is rooted in the circumstances surrounding the partition of British India. When the Indian subcontinent was divided, the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, with its predominantly Muslim population but ruled by a Hindu Maharaja, faced a difficult choice. The Maharaja initially hesitated to join either India or Pakistan. This indecision led to an invasion by Pakistani tribesmen and regular troops, aiming to annex the region by force. The Maharaja, fearing for his kingdom, acceded to India in exchange for military assistance. This accession, however, was conditional upon a plebiscite to be held later to determine the will of the Kashmiri people. The promised plebiscite has never been held, and Kashmir remains a disputed territory. The region has been divided by a line of control, which serves as a de facto border. India controls the majority of the former princely state, including the Kashmir Valley, Jammu, and Ladakh. Pakistan controls a smaller portion, known as Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. The Kashmir dispute has been a major source of tension and conflict between India and Pakistan. It has led to several wars and countless skirmishes, costing the lives of thousands and displacing countless more. The line of control which divides Indian-administered Kashmir from Pakistan-administered Kashmir is a volatile and heavily militarized zone. It is a constant reminder of the unresolved Kashmir conflict and the ever-present risk of escalation. The line of control is not an internationally recognized border but a ceasefire line that was established at the end of the 1947-48 Indo-Pakistani War. The line of control is a dangerous place where ceasefire violations and cross-border firing are frequent occurrences. Both Indian and Pakistani troops are stationed along this tense frontier, constantly on guard against infiltration or attack. The lives of the people living along the line of control are deeply impacted by this ongoing conflict. They live with the daily threat of violence, and their movements are restricted by the heavy military presence. The line of control cuts through villages, families, and communities, separating people who were once connected. It has created a climate of fear and uncertainty, hindering economic development and social progress. The people living in this divided region yearn for a peaceful resolution to the conflict so that they can live normal lives free from the shadow of war. Despite the challenges, there have been efforts to promote cross-line of control travel and trade. These initiatives aim to foster people-to-people contact and build bridges between the divided communities. However, progress has been slow, and the situation on the ground remains precarious. India has long accused Pakistan of supporting and harboring terrorist groups operating in Kashmir and other parts of India. These groups, India argues, aim to destabilize the region and incite violence against Indian security forces and civilians. India points to numerous terrorist attacks, including the 2001 attack on the Indian Parliament and the 2008 Mumbai attacks, as evidence of Pakistan's alleged involvement in cross-border terrorism. Pakistan denies these accusations, claiming that it provides only moral and diplomatic support to the Kashmiri people's struggle for self-determination. It argues that India's security forces are responsible for human rights violations in Kashmir and that its policies are fueling the insurgency. The issue of terrorism has become deeply intertwined with the Kashmir conflict, further complicating efforts to find a peaceful resolution. India's concerns about cross-border terrorism have intensified in recent years. The rise of militant groups in the region, coupled with the increasing availability of sophisticated weapons, has heightened security concerns. India has taken a strong stance against terrorism, both domestically and internationally. Pakistan, too, has been grappling with the threat of terrorism within its borders. The country has suffered numerous terrorist attacks, often targeting civilians and security forces alike. Pakistan has launched military operations against terrorist groups and has taken steps to strengthen its counter-terrorism capabilities. In August 2019, the Indian government took the unprecedented step of revoking Article 370 of its constitution. This article had granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir, allowing it a degree of autonomy in governing its own affairs. The move was met with mixed reactions, both within India and internationally. The Indian government argued that Article 370 was an impediment to the economic development and integration of Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of India. It claimed that the special status had only fueled separatism and hindered the region's progress. The move was also seen by some as an attempt to assert greater control over the disputed territory and strengthen India's claim over it. Pakistan condemned India's decision, calling it a violation of international law and a betrayal of the Kashmiri people. It accused India of attempting to change the demographic makeup of the region by settling non-Kashmiris there. The international community expressed concern over the situation, urging both sides to exercise restraint and engage in dialogue. The abrogation of Article 370 marked a significant shift in India's policy on Kashmir. It remains to be seen what the long-term implications of this move will be, but it has undoubtedly added a new layer of complexity to the already fraught relationship between India and Pakistan. Section 6. The Shadow of War, Military Buildup and Nuclear Concerns. The India-Pakistan conflict is made even more dangerous by the fact that both countries possess nuclear weapons. This grim reality adds a terrifying dimension to the conflict, raising the stakes and increasing the potential for catastrophic consequences. Both countries have engaged in a dangerous arms race, developing and testing increasingly sophisticated weapon systems. India and Pakistan have fought 3 major wars since their independence, and there have been numerous smaller conflicts and skirmishes. The risk of another war, particularly one that could escalate to the nuclear level, is a constant source of anxiety for the international community. The development and testing of nuclear weapons by both countries have been met with international condemnation and calls for disarmament. The international community has urged both India and Pakistan to engage in dialogue and find a peaceful solution to their differences. Several international organizations and countries have played a role in trying to mediate between the two sides, but progress has been slow. The threat of nuclear war casts a long shadow over South Asia, reminding the world of the urgent need for peace and disarmament. Despite the risks, both India and Pakistan maintain that their nuclear arsenals are purely for deterrence and that they are committed to responsible nuclear behavior. However, the lack of transparency surrounding their nuclear doctrines and the potential for miscalculation or accidents remain major concerns. Section 7. A world-divided international response and diplomatic efforts. The international community has long been invested in trying to find a peaceful resolution to the India-Pakistan conflict. the ongoing tensions between these two nuclear-armed neighbors pose a significant threat to regional and global stability. Over the years, various countries and international organizations have attempted to mediate between India and Pakistan, encouraging dialogue and confidence-building measures. The United Nations has played a particularly active role, with the Security Council passing numerous resolutions calling for a peaceful settlement of the Kashmir dispute. However, progress has been elusive, with both India and Pakistan remaining entrenched in their positions. The United States, as a global power with interests in South Asia, has also been involved in trying to de-escalate tensions between India and Pakistan. However, its efforts have often been complicated by its shifting alliances in the region and its own strategic interests. Other countries, including China, Russia, and members of the European Union, have also called for restraint and dialogue. They recognize that a peaceful resolution to the conflict is essential for the stability and prosperity of South Asia. Despite these efforts, the India-Pakistan conflict remains one of the most intractable geopolitical challenges facing the world today. The deep mistrust and historical baggage between the two countries continue to hinder progress towards a lasting solution. Section 8. Fanning the Flames, the Role of Media and Public Opinion. The media plays a significant role in shaping public opinion and influencing the political discourse surrounding the India-Pakistan conflict. In both countries, the media landscape is diverse, ranging from independent and objective news outlets to those with overt political leanings. However, there is a tendency, particularly during times of heightened tension, for media coverage to become increasingly nationalistic and inflammatory. This can contribute to a climate of mistrust and hostility, making it more difficult to find common ground and build bridges. Nationalistic rhetoric and the demonization of the other are common themes in media coverage of the conflict. This can serve to reinforce existing prejudices and stereotypes, further dividing the two societies. Social media has also emerged as a powerful force in shaping public perception of the conflict. While it can provide a platform for diverse voices and perspectives, it can also be used to spread misinformation and propaganda. The rapid spread of fake news and inflammatory content on social media can exacerbate tensions and incite violence. It is essential for media outlets and individuals alike to exercise responsibility and restraint in their coverage and commentary on the India-Pakistan conflict. Sensationalism and warmongering only serve to deepen divisions and make a peaceful resolution more elusive. Section 9. The Path Forward: Dialogue, Diplomacy, and Lasting Peace. The path to peace between India and Pakistan is fraught with challenges, but it is not insurmountable. It requires a commitment to dialogue, diplomacy, and a genuine desire for peace from both sides. The first step is for both countries to acknowledge the human cost of this ongoing conflict. Thousands of lives have been lost, countless others have been affected, and the development of the entire region has been hindered by this decades-long dispute. A sustainable solution can only be achieved through peaceful negotiations. Both sides need to come to the table with a willingness to listen to each other's concerns and find common ground.